In 3, 2, 1. Yo, how's everyone doing?
Hey everybody.
Hey.
A little frantic over here trying to do all the things.
I know, it never gets easier.
No.
It's funny how you do a ton of these and it's just one of the things where there's just so much to do on launch day.
Yeah, literally just this checklist of things that need to get done immediately after hitting the go button.
Yeah. All the posts everywhere.
Yeah, it's looking good. People are responding well. Yeah, it's like go live, email campaigns, social campaigns, just all the things that have to happen.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's so funny too because you have to like check and double check and triple check.
Yeah. Make sure it's all going out correctly.
Yep.
But welcome in, you guys. Welcome in.
Yeah, welcome everybody. I think one of the most difficult things about these campaigns is you cannot change certain things. So if somebody pledges or adds an add-on, pledges at this level or adds an add-on, that is locked down. There's nothing you can change about it. And I understand why. It totally makes sense.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's like, it's just the smallest little thing where it's like, really? Is it that big of a deal? So
luckily, I guess
that can be frustrating
for projects that like ours that has the early bird. So get your dice while you can. It comes with free dice. But yeah, you can probably update the actual pledge still, since no one's pledged at it. You get 3 days to have to sit with it, but now add-ons is another story though.
Yeah, we hope that everyone enjoys what we had. So we did a bunch of surveys and stuff and asked people, what is it that you're looking for? And the feedback we got was so nice to have and be able to really build the campaign so that hopefully it appealed to the most number of people with the selection of add-ons, the selection of what was in the core of the campaign itself. So we hope that between the pledge levels and add-ons, everyone can find what they want. And then the pricing too. We want to make sure that the pricing was something that people would react well to.
Yeah, this has been a fun project. I mean, dragons are always a fun creature. Yo, Lord of Feet, how you doing?
There will be no discussion about Star Wars.
Lord
there's
of
definitely
the
to be a
East.
discussion about Star Wars.
There will be a discussion about Star Wars. We are operational. Nice. Honestly, almost same. I'm getting there.
Fully operational.
I'm getting there.
This better station.
But how you doing? How you doing, man? It's always good to see you. I hope you're doing well. But yeah, this project's been a lot of fun. I love dragons. I use them a lot in my campaigns. Not a fully Operation Battle Station, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my battle station's it's pretty fully operational nowadays, man. Office needs a little bit of cleanup. I love how we have like prototypes back here for Double Trouble. We got a bunch of stuff. There's so many things.
There has been no shortage of development on our side in all different types of things, but exploring lots of different options right now and going to more conventions now, which is really turning up the dial on like inspiration and stuff like that. So you just get inspired to create all kinds of fun things to just make people's lives better.
Oh yeah. Best part is that we got you derailing into Star Wars without prompting. Yeah, I know. All you have to do is show up, and Chris instantly knows where to go.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that before. you've got it to the point now where just your presence reminds me enough of Star Wars to where I'll say something about it. Good.
That's so funny. Yeah, I pledged my allegiance to the dark side, literally to Darth Vader. So that was fun. Yeah, why are we running a Star Wars campaign? I guess that's the next question, right?
Oh, like a Star Wars RPG supplement or something like that? Yeah.
LucasArts.
I'm gonna stick to
reach out to
I'm gonna stick to my fantasy RPG stuff. Do love Star Wars though, definitely a fan. Introduced my kids to it, and man, it's been a lot of fun.
Nice.
Just exploring that through their view, which has been very, very neat, and seeing how they react
Nice.
to the subject matter.
If you could pick 3 sabers to fill it out, what 3 lightsabers would you pick? Lord Eat has a lightsaber rack, and there are 3 slots for 6 sabers. So I guess that means you'd have to pick 6 sabers.
Are you asking me like which Jedi?
I guess if you had to pick, sure.
lightsabers?
If you had to pick one saber,
Count Dooku has some pretty sweet lightsabers. To be perfectly honest with you, they got that curved handle and everything on them. It's very cool. I've always thought those were pretty cool. But you cannot argue with like the OGs, the Anakin, Luke, and Darth Vader. You know those 3. Because those are the only 3 you see in the original trilogy, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, I really do like Darth Vader's. I did pick it up.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we wait for Lord of Eat to pick. I'm going to fade us out for a second. Let's watch this. Let's watch that trailer. Let's watch this.
Dragons. The most iconic.
Oh god, that's right. I
creatures in
can't
fantasy
full
role
screen
play,
it.
brought
It's
to
on
life
that
like
monitor.
never before.
I wonder what that looked like. That monitor is so
Elemental
correct.
Dragons is a brand new collection of books that introduces hundreds of new dragons, treasures, and adventures to your 5e Dungeons & Dragons game sessions. Whether you're a dungeon master looking for inspiration or a player eager for epic quests, this new series is your gateway to endless storytelling. Even better, each book acts as a standalone resource and does not rely on other books in the series to be used to its fullest potential. This project features 4 new books, including a Bestiary and crafting guide, campaign setting, quests and layers, and treasure hoard. The Bestiary and crafting guide contains hundreds of new elemental dragons, complete with lore, stat blocks, treasure, crafting rules, and more. The campaign setting is a fully realized world influenced by the presence of many types of elemental dragons, with 4 distinct realms that contain unique regions, settlements, landmarks, and destinations. The Quest and Layers book has 8 dragon-themed adventures, each with its own unique storyline, dragon layer, points of interest, and hooks to play as a one-shot or link into a larger.
That's funny. I guess we can talk over it then.
Finally, the treasure
Strange
hoard
that the
packs
audio is not
hundreds
coming
of
through for it.
elemental-themed magic items, including weapons, armor, potions, scrolls, and more for every tier.
Technical
of play.
difficulties, you don't say.
Oh yeah.
That's not
I
all.
probably just have to
Stand
turn it up.
pledge with
It's probably just
exclusive
quiet
add-ons,
if I had to
including
guess.
custom elemental dice and accessories, poster-sized maps of dragon layers, realms, and regions from the books, player's guides containing lore, items, and expanded rules fitting the elemental dragons theme, a custom DM screen packed with helpful tables and quick reference information, and a wide selection of STL files featuring dragons of all shapes and sizes. Elemental Dragons is an excellent addition to your 5e collection. Whether you prefer the digital or hardcover version, we have a pledge level to fit your needs. You can even build your own pledge and select only the products you want. Thank you very much for checking out our project. Please share a link with your friends and help us reach our goal.
And all the things. Gotta check back and see where we're at here.
Nice. All right.
6600.
Yeah, I love how that turned out. That was fun. It's always fun doing the voiceover stuff now. I mean, that's something that, oh, was it these two? Aha, it was. I have too many captures on my OBS. And I'm like, which two did I uncheck? Shared pick on Discord. Oh, okay. I will have to check. I unfortunately can't click on the Discord while we're live streaming because it breaks our cameras. I'll see it after. All right. This project is at 71% of its goal. Cool, we can start going through everything.
Yeah, we can start talking about the project, answer any questions that people might have about it. The campaign page, we've worked on it for a couple months now, trying to make sure that it explains as much as possible, and hopefully we've done a good job at that. Yeah, the origin of this was actually, this was going to be an Ultimate Bestiary project, and then we started to explore more, and the book got so big, we were like, okay, there's just no way. There's no way we can do this. This book's going to be 700 pages by the time we're all done, and so I opted to break it into smaller chunks, but every single book follows the same theme and covers a different aspect of what you need out of that part of the larger series, and they're all something that you can use independently of one another, so you're not just stuck like, okay, I've got all this information, but then it references a different book that I have to also have to make this thing work, and I wasn't happy with how that might go, so we made sure to break all of it out in such a way that each book can be used independently, and I think it's worked out pretty good.
Nice.
So far, it's been really an excellent thing to develop. Very challenging. I've actually had to sort of go back and start over a couple of different times to make sure everything was consistent, but when you're dealing with this much content, that's kind of normal.
Yeah.
It can happen.
And also the STLs are not included in the all-in. So those are
STLs
separate.
are a separate add-on. Yeah.
Separate add-on from
those are from our friends at Dragon Trappers Lodge. So we have those broken out separately, and you can check out those different packs. We put them into different packs, and they allowed us to do a heavy discount compared to what their normal price is.
Yeah, I love their modeling skills. They look great.
Amazing. They also they made a model for us specifically for this campaign, which we'll reveal in a little bit. Okay.
So what is your favorite dice set option? Now that is hard. I like any of the dwarf cut dice just because I really like that cut. And then I also personally really like the oversized D20 because I'm a fan of oversized D20s. So those are my two favorite. But it was hard. Like, we got a lot of dice. Who are we working with for that? That's Misty
Runic
Mountain
Dice and Misty Mountain Gaming.
Yeah.
Dice two different dice companies. They make slightly different types of dice, and so originally we had looked around for like something that would be like Elemental and stuff, and we found quite a lot of options out there, and we already work with both of them. We sell their products through our website. And that was really neat to reach out to them and say, hey, we're looking to offer special dice during this campaign, and they were like, yeah, sounds good to us. So it all worked out. Yeah, cool companies to work with. But yeah, three collaborations on this. So Dragon Trappers Lodge, Runic Dice, and Misty Mountain Gaming.
Nice. Also, I was able to check out that lightsaber that you said. That's really cool. You guys designed that one? So funny. Share our heaviest D20 on Discord. I'll have to see that. Because you're right, I can check it. Wow, that thing is huge. How much does that weigh? Yeah, I'm a big fan of oversized dice in general. Like, my current set is, I guess you'd say twice the size of a normal dice. They're just fun to use. They got little bears in them, so it's on brand for me.
You are a bear.
I am indeed a bear. Wow. That's a lot of bludgeoning damage. That's crazy. Do you break that out for those those crazy rolls? You're like, all right, your life's on the line, so now you get to roll the heavy d20. You get to leave a mark in the table as you roll this. That'd be kind of cool though. Your table's like scarred with the actions of your players. Yeah, I was gonna say it needs something. Definitely needs a dice rolling box. Nope. Let me go back up on this. Let's check something. Let's go back up. Hey, we funded. That's what I wanted to check.
Funded?
We funded.
Fantastic.
Now he has to update all the banners. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
Funded.
Thanks, you guys.
Excellent.
Hey. I don't know when that happened because I was scrolling through the campaign, and that's why I was like, I wonder how close we are.
Yeah, it's funny. I am so like in the weeds on a bunch of different tasks.
Yeah, you're good.
This is how well organized we are, everybody. We actually sat down and made a list of all the different things we need to do immediately before and after launch, and then going into future days and stuff. And yeah, it's a lot.
It is a lot.
Thank you very much for backing our project. I think that this is going to be a really, really excellent series of books. We're also talking about going back through our previous bestiaries and giving them the same treatment.
Yeah, fleshing them out, giving them each their own campaign setting, their own because there already is the bestiary. We'll
expand it a bit more.
Exactly.
Bring in some additional concepts and stuff, but try to expand the theme into multiple books. And then same idea, you've got, let's say, like the Dreaded Accursed, where you have this overarching theme of accursed creatures, undead, and stuff like that. And that expands into that wider world of beyond the bestiary. You've got the campaign setting where it could be this, this whole area that's been blighted or whatever, and undead creatures are just running rampant. You've got the quests and layers, where of course easily create all sorts of exciting quests and layers for that theme, and then the treasure hoard as well. So, and then a player's guide as well. So
what made you want to go with dragons for this campaign?
So dragons, it's so funny. Dragons has been on our list for a very long time to do dragons, like years, and it's an awful lot to create all the artwork. Bestiaries, because of how much artwork is required, are kind of they're an undertaking for sure. So we've had it on the list for at least like 4 or 5 years now, and we've got a bunch of other bestiaries also on that list. But dragons, I mean, they're so iconic, they're really interesting, but like we didn't really know what angle to go with, because there's been a lot of different books about dragons. And then I was like, what about elemental dragons, like specifically elemental dragons, but then maybe you only have like 4 or 5 elements. But then I was like, well, let's expand it into more than that. So we introduced things like light and shadow and stuff like that. And some people might say, well, elements are probably fire, earth, water, air, those are sort of the core four.
Sure.
And I was like, well, we can definitely go beyond that. And, they get a bit wishy-washy, but that's fine. It's fantasy role-playing games, so no big deal. But yeah, that was sort of the original concept was, dragons of some kind, but how do we make it? And then Elemental Dragons, probably about a year ago, is when we really started to lean heavily into Elemental Dragons, and then it just sort of evolved from there. And then over the past few months, it really expanded more and more and more. So originally, again, just one book, and then it was just too big. It was just way too big, way too many things happening in that one book. So we said, let's expand it, let's make it bigger, let's like break it out if we have enough content. And then I said, well, we can definitely make enough content. And then that appeals to a bunch of different people who maybe are looking specifically for quests and layers only, or treasure only. So maybe they've already got, or there's the whole like they want a Bestiary hardcover, but they want a digital version of a different book. So we figured we'd offer as many options as possible while still keeping it all in the same theme of the Elemental Dragons. And then reached out to other creators for contribution on other things like the dice and accessories and stuff like that. So definitely stoked with the overall progress on it, and looking forward to seeing where it goes. And again, if this becomes a good model to follow and we can go back and revise some of our earlier bestiaries and expand them as well, that'd be great. If there's future concepts that we haven't explored yet or haven't announced yet, and we can do the same treatment on those, that could be very cool as well.
Lori said one thing they'd like to see if we expand previous bestiaries is guidelines for integrating the monsters into other campaign settings, which I feel like would be in the campaign settings book.
Yes. So actually it's in the bestiary where it's like how to run this type of dragon in your own campaigns. Yeah. So like each dragon, there'll be a PDF preview later today, but each dragon comes with a like suggestions and stuff on like how do they behave and what kind of lore is around them. Are there, is this dragon intelligent? Is it more of a monster or a beast? Are these dragons worshipped? What is the cultural significance of these dragons? All sorts of things that are sort of suggestions and ways that you can use them in your campaigns for sure. It's all, we put the content out there, and it's up to you guys whether you want to use it, or leave it. It's totally up to you. But for right now, we're trying to provide as much as is reasonable to put into one of these books, and keep it aligned with that title. So you can pretty much, bestiary and crafting guide will cover things like what does dragon look like, how does it behave, what sort of lore is around it, what sort of cultural significance does it have, if any, what kind of crafting materials might it yield if it were to die or be slain or whatever, what kind of treasure does it collect, if any, and then all the different versions of those dragons. So like you'll get 4 stat blocks per dragon. So for example, if there is like the gem dragon, there's 4 different stat blocks as it ages, but there's also other stat blocks if a dragon is perhaps not really like born, like doesn't have a biological origin, but instead is sort of created suddenly, and only maybe lasts as long as like a storm exists in the case of some of the air elemental dragons and stuff. So let's say that this dragon, it's created through the convergence of elemental forces, and then it expires as soon as the storm subsides, let's say. Well, instead of having like a wormling and a young and an adult and an ancient version of that dragon, instead we have like a lesser, greater, superior, and supreme version of that dragon.
That makes sense.
So yeah, so like the power level is defined a little bit differently, and you have the options. It's not just like this one dragon exists and it's a CR6 and that's all you get. You've got a whole spectrum of different options within that one dragon, and what that dragon represents. So providing lots and lots of different options for people, and
because that is always nice. Like, it's one of those things, especially with dragons, like a lot of the times people will run them at high CR because that's what like an iconic dragon usually is. Even like lower dragons are pretty scary creatures, like a whelpling or something like that. Still nothing to just throw at level 1s or something like that. But having that like different levels to throw things at, because my other thing about I've learned running dragons are a lot of the times you can have really non-combative encounters with dragons that are a lot of fun.
Yes. So that's a super important theme throughout the bestiary, is it actually explains in many cases like these dragons are not hostile to humans. Like, you shouldn't just throw these at the players as if they're monsters. Like, it's a bestiary, but it's like, how do we sort of gently explain that not every dragon needs to be slain? And we've got some dragons in there that literally are worshipped, and that's like their thing is they're sort of seen as gods in a way. Let's see here, gotta fix something real quick. Well, not fix, just change something.
Just gotta fix it. What'd you break?
No, I forgot to add a logo for the Dragon Trappers Lodge folks.
Okay.
So, yeah, just throw that logo in there.
Yes, dragons like hags can be talked with. Agreed. And it's funny. It is one of those that's like, a lot of the times, I'll throw dragons at my NPCs or at my player characters. They're there to grow the story. They're there to have you interact and learn something about, because they're usually highly intelligent creatures a lot of the time. We need to trick someone into making an STL set for pink dragons. Oh no, pink dragons are. No.
I don't know what you mean.
They blow bubbles. Aw. Yeah, we do have some cute dragons in ours. The gem dragons are by far my favorite. I am petitioning for Boop to become our new mascot, so.
Yep. Boop is the cutie.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're definitely trying to make sure that people have lots of options, and obviously use them however you want.
Exactly.
But we don't want to make people think like, oh, I can only use this way or whatever. But we definitely feel like a lot of times players go, straight in hacking and slashing, and and instead, obviously there are some that are like straight up chaotic evil, and that's fine. Especially things like lightning dragons and stuff like that. Those are more like neutral evil, chaotic neutral, but they are forces of destruction. And so what are you going to do? You need to do something about this dragon, protect the settlement or whatever is happening. And maybe the dragons, they don't necessarily have a a motivation, that they're just doing what they do. So that's something to consider.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes that is just how dragons be. When you guys are using the satyr variant from Secrets of the Fate, that's awesome. And for a player character, that's really cool.
Yep, like it. Yeah, as much variation and customization and stuff as possible. I'm always happy when I hear people saying, you know, they're using this aspect or that aspect of one of our books. And
I mean, that's why we make them. We make them for you guys to go out there into the wild and use, and for ourselves. I mean, we definitely. I'm going to be throwing quite a few dragons once this book is out into my next campaign.
There is a selfish component. Don't be fooled. But at the same time, it's such an amazing experience to see people or hear people talk about using our books and the kinds of adventures that they go on and the experiences that they have. It can be extremely rewarding to hear about those those adventures. And recently I've been going back through and playing the original Zelda games on Nintendo and Super Nintendo. And what it's reminding me of is when I was a child, like literally like 6 or 7 years old, probably when I first played Zelda, and the magic that brought to it. And that is so incredibly reminiscent of when I play D&D with like brand new players, people not played D&D before, and sort of the magic that they experience. And then it reminds me of the first time I played D&D and stuff like that. So like all of these things are interconnected, and the more that we can facilitate those experiences, the happier I am, really.
Oh yeah,
it's a strange thing to feel happiness through other people, but it is a real thing, and I really enjoy that, and to listen to people's adventures and stuff too. So I always try to, whenever I'm at conventions and stuff, sit down and talk with people about the adventures that they go on, because it gives me inspiration and makes me want to play more.
No, same. Like, it's one of those things where when I got into this, was a long time ago now for me. I mean, 3.5 I think had just come out, so whenever that was. But I remember seeing them play at the local game store, and I was lucky enough that the DM at the time was like, you can sit in on this session, like you don't have a character or anything, but you can basically sit there and watch. And so I sat there and I got to see how everyone played, and then I instantly went home, made a character, showed up the next session, and he was great. He integrated us right in, and I have adventures and memories from that'll stick with me forever. Like, some of the things that he did was a lot of fun, and they were really cool. And I learned a lot later that a lot of his stuff is based off of like movies and things like that. So he would take like his favorite movies, and then he would kind of convert them into scenarios that we would go into and run into. And I always thought that was really neat. I was like,
I mean, everything's fair game.
Oh,
and
yeah, no, 100%.
My biggest challenge is keeping people on their toes, and making sure that I'm not diving into something where people can maybe see what's coming next, and trying as much as possible to keep things interesting, keeping things fresh, and keep them moving so that people are thrilled and excited, and then always leave the end of the session on like a cliffhanger kind of a thing. So like, make it episodic, and then make it to where they want to, find out what happens next time. You're very
episodic, as you said, or like cinematic
Yeah.
in your
Yeah.
DM style.
Yeah.
Which is cool. That's something about tabletop RPGs that I absolutely love, is that everyone kind of has their own ways of handling stuff.
Yeah.
I have been playing games with many people over the years, and everyone is kind of different as far as their DMing style goes. And it's really neat. I don't think there's necessarily a wrong way to DM. There are ways that are more successful to certain people.
Yeah.
And there's certain people who, like, especially now that D&D's gone very mainstream and popular, there's like a sense of what people expect from DMs. But at the same time, I feel like how you do it, and if you want to get into DMing, it's just you'll kind of find your way. I had a guy, one of my buddies recently got into DMing, and he started asking me all these, like, how do I do this? How do I do that? And he just kind of went over how I do things, and he's like, that's not how I do anything at all. And I'm like, okay, see, now you're realizing that you have a different way of doing these things. So by all means, man, go for it. Like, he went very deep into planning out, doing notes, all that type of stuff. I am a very flyby and improvisational DM. So my notes and what I come to the session with is a lot of ideas in my head on where I think things will go, but a lot of it's actually me playing with the players and kind of seeing what they're doing and reacting to that. And then it comes from, for sure, like, the majority of people I was DMing when I was younger were off the rails type people. So no matter if I planned,
wild cards.
It would, every single one of them is a wild card. So it's like, no matter what I do, they'd end up going in a different direction. So I got very good at, like, okay, well, we're going to kind of come up with this session and do this all together, instead of it more being like this structured event and things like that are happening. And I love that now. Like, it's a lot of fun for me. As I said, I'll have ideas of where to go. I'll have an overarching story and how I can tie those things in. And I've just gotten a lot better at, just implementing that, essentially.
Yeah, I have a similar approach where I have a vague idea, like, and maybe I've got like a couple of crescendos and a climax or something like that planned, but I 100% base my my moves off of the players. And what they might, like, how they might interpret the story or where they might take it. And there's a meme, I forget, I think it's Pedro Pascal eating an apple or something like that, just sort of sitting there enjoying some sort of back and forth between people, and he just keeps on watching them do their thing, and he's just eating his apple or whatever it is, and or maybe it's a sandwich. And the meme is like me watching my players, you know, basically make the whole thing way more complicated than it needed to be, you know. And it's like, cool, if you guys want to bring that into it. And I very much want to leverage the player characters' skills and what they might know about something, like their knowledge on history or arcana or whatever. That always comes into the game for me, where I will let their characters add to the story, either by, I will sort of dictate and say, you know this thing about whatever, or if I know it's like a more advanced player, I might go, hey Bear, what do you know about this thing? And like that sort of giving you free reign on where do you want to take this. And it's like a whose line is it anyway kind of, where I would like for you to, and it may not be true, like whatever you come up with may not actually be the real story. So, which I think adds so much to an adventure, because now you don't know, who's a reliable source of information.
I like that a lot.
But yeah, it certainly makes for some interesting encounters, and it allows for a collaborative storytelling experience. So, and we've put as much of that into these books as possible, sort of like encouraging that kind of thing so that people can all feel like they're contributing to a larger adventure. And what that does also is it tends to help accommodate all the different types of personalities you might have around the table. There might be people who are aspiring dungeon masters, and they or like we literally have games where everyone around the table is a dungeon master, like the designated dungeon master for their group.
Sure.
And then they all get together at like conventions and stuff, and they really get to go crazy with it, because now you've got one person who is sort of the ringleader, but everybody else in the game are all equally talented, and they bring, and this is, you know, you watch things like Critical Role, where all of those people are fully capable of running their own games.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But when you get them all together, it becomes quite an adventure, because now all of them are contributing not only their own like personalities and stuff into it, but if they can be allowed to inject their own spin on the story, then it can turn into something really magical. So I think that, you know, that's all we're looking for, is just a little bit of excitement, a little bit of fun, a little bit of danger, a little bit of suspense, a little comedy, always comedy.
So Lord E asked, what is your silliest or most memorable mimic encounter?
Mimic.
Do you have?
Yeah, I've definitely used a lot of mimics. I would say that, so chess mimics, they're pretty classic, but the best mimic that I ever encountered was actually a coin. And the way that it worked, so I was still a teenager, and I was playing in my uncle's game, and so we went into somewhere and we found a chest, big chest, with one gold coin in it, and we were like, oh, whatever, and, you know, womp womp, you know, and like I think we like picked the lock and everything. Like it was a really difficult. Got into the chest, one gold coin. Take the gold coin, put it in my coin purse. Later in the adventure, I somehow he had me roll for something, and it became apparent to me that there was less coin, and I was at a settlement. There was less coins in my coin purse than there should have been. So I like went into a corner of the tavern or whatever, dumped them out, and started to count them. I was like, yeah, there are less. Huh. Okay, so I must have been pickpocketed or whatever. Now I'm like super careful, you know, I must have pickpocketed. I'm all suspicious. Later in the same adventure, now we're not even in the town, and I'm noticing like my coin purse is lighter, and I'm like, okay, what the heck? And then eventually I'm down to like just a few coins, and we can't figure out what's going on. Well, we come to find out later on that coin was a mimic that eats other coins and valuables at a rate of X number of sort of equivalent gold pieces per day or whatever it was. And I mean, that was pretty funny. That was like, I lost quite a bit of gold, copper, and silver, and probably a couple of gems or something like that. And it was very funny that I was sort of kept in the dark on that until eventually. And then I was like, this is a very valuable, and it wasn't hostile. Like it didn't like try to eat me or anything like that. It was just a little coin. And the fact that I now had that meant I was like, well, it's eating it. It's going somewhere. I mean, I wonder where this could go potentially, like in the future. Could I potentially dispel whatever is happening with this mimic to extract all the wealth it had ever consumed? And we never got to, but I think that would be an extremely interesting way to take that particular mimic. I think that would be really cool. So that's definitely the one that sticks in my head more than that I've ever run or encountered.
Nice, I like that.
And everybody, feel free to use that. I mean, run with it. Should be fun.
Yeah, my personal
Don't be too
favorite
harsh on your players, though.
that I ever encountered with was it was a whole house was the mimic, and so we went in and things seemed off. Like going in, it was this like cottage that was in the middle of nowhere. We needed to take shelter, and we go inside of this, and basically we start messing around and interacting with stuff, and it's like the DM's describing it has like a bit of slime all over, and we're thinking, okay, there must have been like an ooze or like there's something that's going on in here. And so in the middle of the night, one of us wakes up and starts waking up everyone else because they were taking like their stuff was disintegrating. Like we were basically being eaten alive inside of this thing. And then we all ran outside and it came to life and we ended up fighting it. But I've always wanted to do a castle that's a mimic after seeing that. So like an entire castle is the mimic and everything inside is mimics. So it's like a mimic that houses mimics.
Gotcha. So it was like digesting you guys as you were inside of it. Wow. That's a very neat concept.
It was pretty sweet.
Yeah. We've talked about a mimic dragon in this book. And if we reach the stretch goal, it may end up in the other dragon chapter that we're looking at adding.
I mean, I love mimics. So
yeah.
They're one of my favorite creatures. Yeah. If you ever want to make your players weary about everything, start introducing mimics to your campaign.
Everything could be a mimic.
Anything and everything is a mimic.
That statue could be a mimic.
People will start attacking random objects because they think it may be a mimic.
They're blunting their blades just like, is it a mimic?
Yeah. Bridge the mimic. That's kind of funny. Aw. Yeah. They were non-hostile and see, that's something too about mimics. Not all mimics need to be evil or trying to eat you.
Yeah, weaning people off of the murder hobo trope can be challenging. And so again, we've tried to bring some like personality and some understanding, between the player characters and the dragons. Now, in some cases, the dragons are straight up are going to try to eat you.
Sure.
We've got a mire dragon, for example, that lives in swamps and stuff like that. And that thing is not going to reason with you. It's not going to it literally only lives to eat weary travelers going through the swamp. So that's its prerogative, and that's fine. It's sort of reminiscent of like a crocodile. Like you're not gonna reason with a crocodile, it's not gonna happen. So hey, there we go, first stretch goal, 20k.
Nice. Hell yeah.
Very nice.
You might reason with a crocodile, okay? I mean, no.
So we're gonna put in, so for everybody who's watching the live stream live, we are gonna put in a dragon generator. So during the whole process, what I have found is that I actually am using my own sort of, generator within the book, where I've laid out things like, here are possible morphologies. So is it a wyvern body style? Is it like a true dragon body style? Is it more like a worm? It's got 4 legs but no wings and very long. Is it a drake where it's like a very stocky sort of 4 legs and no wings? Is it a hydra? Is it seraphic, so like more of angelic look with feathers and stuff like that? So coming up with all of these different styles, body styles, that's one aspect of the larger picture of this dragon. And then you've got other things like its origin. For example, is it of just sort of a general biological origin, or is it somehow infused with elemental power? In addition to being biological, is it something that was created because of a celestial event, or as I said earlier, like an elemental convergence? Or there's a bunch of different options. So where did it come from? And how to use it in that way. And there's a bunch of other attributes, going into the whole generator and stuff too. But now that'll be in the book, so you can just roll on some tables to create your concept. And then you'll also have things like sort of preset numbers based on CR, and sort of you can plug and play your own like elemental damage, different breath weapons and stuff like that. And those are all somewhat dictated by the type of element it's infused with. Now, we classified all of the dragons in this book and divided them by chapters. There's 10 chapters, unless we get that stretch goal, which there would be 11 chapters with the other dragons. So we classified them based on what are they made of, or what sort of environment do they live in, or what sort of element do they have command of. So you might have an earth dragon that's literally made of earth, boulders, rocks, sand, that kind of stuff. Or you might have another earth dragon that, like the sand dragon, for example, burrows in sand, and it can literally like swim through the sand. So that's what classifies it as an earth dragon, and in this case, sand dragon specifically. So it's stuff like that where it's stuff like that where we tried to make sure that the classifications and stuff make sense for people. So it's been really cool. But having that as a generator as well, I think is going to be extremely beneficial for people, so that they can have a jumping off point. Lots of different CRs to work with, so like we'll have a standard of like CR 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and those are usually around this many hit points, and they can do this much damage and all that stuff. But then like your own rolls and stuff will put the different damage types and other things in there, so make it easy on people. And again, they're more guidelines and actual rules anyway. So give people some options to work with, and then you can refine them from there however you see fit. So there you go.
Nice.
$20,000 stretch goal achieved. Thanks everybody.
Yeah, thank you guys. Yeah, it's as I said, it's been a fun project to come up with and work on. I love dragons, so dragons are always part of my campaigns, usually in some facet. So now having an entire book dedicated to different versions of dragons, and I think Elemental Dragons is a great way to lean into it, because then they are all unique in their own ways, and you kind of can slot them in more efficiently and know where they should end up. So I like it a lot.
Yeah, going beyond the usual chromatic and I think it works really well to expand the concept and introduce a lot of new stuff. We've got a lot of things where they had like combinations of different damage types in their breath weapon, for example, trying to make sure that like there's some in the light dragon category where they not only deal like radiant damage but also in fire damage. So trying to make some interesting combinations there and make sure that these feel unique, they fit a need in your campaign, and they're the kinds of things that you can find lots of uses for, and not only in combat but also in a larger storyline. Lots of dragons do things like they have really good wisdom on the history of a nation or a region or something like that, and they're often used as consultants. Like the mortals will ask them for their guidance that in situations. Doesn't mean they can't fight, but it means that they kind of have their own prerogatives and stuff. Give them personality. And then there's the other side of the spectrum, which is literally they're mindless and they're destructive and stuff like that, and that's fine. We have the whole spectrum of different dragons.
The whole gambit of dragon.
And then, like I said before, the Bestiary and crafting guide deals with the stat blocks, the lore, the crafting, the treasure, all that stuff. That consists of 10 chapters currently, and there's over 300 dragons in the book as of right now. And then going into the campaign setting, that is currently 4 realms. All of those realms, we're using other Nord Games products such as the Wondrous Worlds, Dangerous Destinations, Spectacular Settlements to create those regions, but then they all have that element theme to them. So the elemental dragons have something to do with those realms in some way. And then the quests and layers currently has 8 different quests and layers in it. All of those tie to the campaign setting, but they're not dependent on it. They're totally
you can use them yourself in your own campaign.
They may reference locations in the campaign setting, but also give the option of or a similar settlement, like a city or whatever, if it calls out a settlement or landmark or whatever. If it's something that you want to have a jumping off point, it doesn't have to use the campaign setting, but it can. And then there's the treasure hoard, which is currently we've got common, uncommon, rare, very rare, legendary, all the different rarities of items and the different categories of items as well. So your weapons, armor, wondrous items, scrolls, potions, all that kind of stuff. All of those are in that book with that elemental theme to them. So, potions that, would resist frost damage or cold damage and stuff like that. Weapons that would deal radiant damage, and just trying to tie them to the elemental theme, but also you might see those items in the other books. So a mention of how you can create this potion using this component of this dragon, it will come up also in the treasure hoard, and which is really cool. So trying to tie them all together, but also make them independent, so you don't have to have all of them to make them work. They can all be used independently of one another. So a narrow, a challenging thing to achieve, but I think we've done it, and very, very happy with how it's turned out. So it's 10 o'clock. We have funded and achieved our first stretch goal. So thanks, everybody. This has been a very fun launch so far. Please share a link with your friends. Keep the momentum going in this campaign. We have 72 hours until the early bird free dice set goes away. If you're a digital backer, it'll be the PDF version of the player's guide. So all that's available for the next 72 hours. So that's 9 a.m. on Friday, 9 a.m. Pacific time on Friday. There will be late pledges available after the campaign is over, but the pricing does go up a little bit, goes to normal pricing. Everything's discounted for the campaign. Please let your local retailer store know. We got a retailer pledge. Share the campaign all over social media and beyond. Be amazing. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, I was gonna say thanks for sharing Lord to Eat. Thanks for sharing that on one of your Discords. We appreciate that. And also, yes, we did donate to the Power Word Meal campaign that D&D Shorts is putting on. Yeah, he reached out to us, and he's a great guy, so we wanted to help him out. So
got to see Will at Gen Con. It was super fun. So I got to hang out with him. And very, very happy with what he's doing. So I messaged him and I was like, using your position to benefit other people is an amazing thing to be doing, and much appreciated from everybody in the community.
Yep. And now we'll leave with Lord of Eat said, now Chris, you just need to go join the Empire. So
nope, not gonna happen.
So one day we'll convert him, Lord. We'll get him one of these days. One of the he'll see other dragons. He'll see the light of the dark side, and it'll be fine. It'll
maybe the other dragons will put like a Sith dragon or something like that. Just for just a little wink and a nudge. All right, everybody. Thanks so much.
Thank you, guys.
Until our next live stream. Happy gaming, everybody.
Yeah. Catch you guys later. Bye, everybody.